burning really shortly, and then I bring Ray up.
For that second, the issue of it's working. Yeah. So the issue of payment being different, we raised that, and they brought the heads of Google just to try and tell us why it happens that way in Kenya and versus the other countries. So they're like, in the other countries, companies have embraced online marketing. They're really buying a lot of ads. So the competition is high. So because they're bidding. So you have to bid high to get an ad space on a video. In Kenya, not many companies are buying ads online. Okay. So the bidding is a bit lower because you can buy online, it's either Safaricom, Glovo, Jumia, you see. So, which makes it lower, the bidding is low, so the platform does not make more money and inaweza kwa split to the creators. But then we gave them a solution. If the problem with people advertising online is because of the process, because uko nje hata mse ana shop ndogo ana advertise online. Yeah. But sisi watu wengi waja embrace the process, getting a card, going to buy ads, what nini. Can you make it simpler for SMEs in Kenya so that anyone can run an ad online? Okay. So that will increase the bidding chances. Wase watakuwa na bid higher na tuta make domob.
Njugush naona nataka kuongea. Acha kwanza Adelle ongee, alafu tuongee kidogo.
So this is the thing. I understand we do need to engage with government and we do need to have those conversations, and I'm thankful that you're having them. I think we also, so just 2 points. I think we also have to empower ourselves to go the whole route. So who are we holding accountable for what laws, and how are they tabling it, and did they do it, and what is it that we want? It goes back to what I said, who are the members of this industry we are talking about? Because even when I say my needs, as Adelle who runs this business, my needs are very different from your needs, right? Yeah, so if we don't come up with a system to really get everybody included, we'll be working on assumptions. Yeah. The last point is I'm very skeptical about negotiating with oppressors. Mm-hmm. Very skeptical, because I just don't see a world where somebody who's benefiting from oppressing can actually have goodwill. Yeah. So my thing is, it really throws back to who is in control of the business environment. It's the government, right? Yeah. It's people who we put in leadership who then say, hey, we know you're this company from whatever world. In our borders, this is how this operates, right? If you look at certain platforms in China, they have been like, if you don't operate the way as we want, please just step out. We have our own. So it still goes back to, what do we want for ourselves as a country and as an industry? We are the ones to set the terms, right? And if we don't do that, and if we negotiate with oppressors, they have wonderful words and wonderful lingo that will let you think that they really are for us, but they're not. And lastly, innovation. We have AI tools right now. We're at the start line with everybody. We need to be innovating that platform. What does it look like in a vernacular, local environment, right? How do we innovate for people who have a certain level of a smartphone or who speak a certain super vernacular language, right? What are their needs? Again, it goes back to who are we? Who's part of this industry? Right. Because they're Kikuyu podcasts. How I market a Kikuyu podcast, very different from how I market Legally Clueless, right? So I'm sorry, the Pan-African in me is coming out, but I just don't believe in negotiating with oppressors. You tell them, hey, here, the bad thing here is that they caught us unprepared. Right. That's the failure.
Njugush, really quick, Claudia, and then Ria.
I always struggle because it's sort of a catch-22. Because on one hand, let me give an example. It's what we are having happened long time ago, USA. That's one. So it's catch-up. That's one. Two, I think they don't care what we are doing down here so much that, mnasema mpunguziwe, wapunguze. Let me tell you, even if we were given money from hizo nini, haitafika huko. And it's for a reason. They are way ahead. Even if we wanted to pressure our SMEs and everyone to advertise, we never be there, because as a country, we are not there. let's take a case in point. Our biggest brand ambassadors, influencers of this country, the Eliud Kipchoges, the who is who. Do you think Eliud Kipchoge will wait for the government to cater for his needs and flights? No. So, sisi wenyewe are the biggest. Sisi wenyewe we cannot be able to do that. The other day, unaona a whole champion, Omanyala. If you are to see a second-hand politician akipitishwa kwa hiyo JKIA, akipitishwa na hapo VIP, but what is happening to one of our greatest influencers? Nobody is taking care of them. So what makes us think, I know it's global village, the internet, but what makes us think that us, as content creators, sijui kama unanielewa, let's go to the doctors. We have some of the brilliant minds in this country. Watu wanasoma, watu wamesoma, and then all of a sudden, right now we have the greatest guys going out, nurses, doctors, one and out, pilots. Pale JKIA wanakuja Katari na uliza ni aje? Wanapigwa kama Mbappe, na Mbappe angekubali. Wanapigwa pesa, wanakubali. So my point is, we must agree where we are, but at the same time, create solution. And that's why we are here, to create solutions that are homegrown. Like, for example, Kenyans are willing to support what you are doing. They are willing, ukieka event, however, uko wewe event, people will come. And those are your people. They pay you money, you put in the pocket. That's it. Gava inapata yake, unapata yako. So my point is, yes, it's good because we need these platforms. Si zetu, but we need them. Right. However, on the side, what are we taking? Because, for example, my website, I'd push it using my Instagram. But what if the government tightens Sharia on Google, and then Google realizes, oh, basi itabidi, oh, hata hizo website unatumia, kuna kakitu ketu kako hapo. So I won't be able, like, for example, what is happening right now in Russia and Belarus, wameweka restrictions. So there is a lot of things you cannot use. Like, for example, what happened to a particular phone company in US, China. Vile China, US wakafunga, so they are no longer using the US. So my point is, that is them. They are 100 years mbele. I'm not saying tukae tu kiafrika juu sisi tuliachwa nyuma, but the reality of the matter is, hapo ndio tuko. Right. That's why right now, watu wanapatiwa chakula ya msaada bado. So if that is still happening, this is a wax in the spanner, where are we? Are we that special that tutaenda huko mbele, sasa to confront it, or it's up to us? Because that's how I see it. It's up to us to create something, then the rest will join. And that's why now unaona gava ina join, jumeona kuna kitu ina happen. Iko kitu. Yes. There's movement. Claudia, speak to it.
So I'd love to comment on what Adelle said. So Adelle said that she doesn't like negotiating with oppressors, or she does not support negotiating with oppressors. But as Kenyans, I'd say we have no choice. I'd not call them oppressors. I'd call them, this is our government, right? These are the guys who govern us. So this year, towards the end of the year, Jamhuri Day, we are celebrating the creative economy. These guys have been part of the conversation. I have been part of the conversation, and Talanta Hela initiative, and their structures being placed. You know, you don't see results that time. Sindio, you guys have been brought to give solutions and whatnot, but you don't see results that time. It takes time to build a long-lasting structure. Yep. So I'd say, let's give this government the time. Towards Jamhuri Day, a lot of things will be unveiled by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and the Arts under Waziri Ababu, and we'll get to see what they have for creatives. And all of us will get to see. Also, you mentioned something about, I'm not remembering very well, because my thought process has been distorted kidogo, but you mentioned something about these laws, the laws governing creatives and whatnot. I was part of the Talanta Hela initiative as a council member, the ones who are gazetted and whatnot. And I'd say...
and whatnot.
Yes, yes. And, yes, and the same creators who we are trying to... There's some laws are supposed to be amended and whatnot. Creators have complained about, oh, MCSK, oh, SG, what. The same creators are the ones who came and fought the ones who were put there to represent them. You see, so there is also that disconnect. You mentioned community, being a community. We really need to be a community. It's very important. When we move as one front. Okay. So that when we speak to the government, tunasikika. Si ati wengine wanenda State House, alafu behind kuna watu wengine wanaongea.
Yeah.
We need to accept that, okay, these are our people, that this and this things affecting us. You know these guys, DM them, tell them, yo, I hope you guys raised this and this and this and this. But for now, I'd advise all creators, don't come for the government, don't come for the creators who attend these events, because we are there to speak. Because we also face the same
And you're sitting
challenges.
in the middle of those who've attended, who've been to State House.
I say something?
But what she was saying about oppressors, I believe, also is more of the international.
Yes.
Yeah, the politics.
Company is not a government. The company.
Yeah.
They are answerable to me.
Yeah.
They cannot oppress me, because then I should be empowered to fire them.
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
So
True.
the person who is oppressing is the person who comes to my space and then takes advantage of me. And then I have to say, hey, this is not fair what you're doing, especially if I can see you're doing it differently elsewhere, so you're capable. So then we have to be careful about, and I understand, we may not be, I don't know if I have my mic on or
It's on.
There you go.
we also need to be careful to understand, yes, where we are, but also remember where we want to go and what our value is. Because if you look at the business trends for a lot of these platforms, why is the focus Africa all of a sudden? The consumers are here, right?
Yeah.
So we have a value that we're bringing to the table, right? We're not just receiving. So we need to think about where we are. Yes, innovate for now, but also think 10 years from now, where in the world do we want to be?
Yeah.
I think amechukua kiti ya chairperson of, content creators of Kenya. Rehab, I'm sure you'll allow me to bring in Rehab here, as you've heard this conversation. I know you want to weigh in on that particular one. Rehab's managing editor and founder at Potentash. Speak first of all to what's happening here in terms of the monetization, the changing environment, and where we can actually claim our own voice and space.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, one of the key things that we have all been listening to is that a misconception that people have is that content creators were not paying taxes, which is not true. We were paying the 5%, especially when you work with agencies.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest issues I think that people forget is that content creators pay taxes in other ways that the government also doesn't consider. Like, I'm a publisher, so I do a lot of Facebook advertising, and I'm being charged 16% tax for that. And that's a very big distribution channel for me. And then we are also, like most of us, now you become a professional and you have to have a Google email. Google is also charging you 16% on top of what they are charging, just to so now, and all of these things are being charged in dollars. So you feel the pain times 2. So there's that. But then one of the things I think we need to think about, because I don't think has really been discussed here, is some of the challenges, especially that minorities have in this creative space.
Describe
because
minority.
For example, women, persons with disability.
Within the content creator space.
And then LGBTQ. Because one of the issues that we have and we've raised is a lot of times people want to give us training. We're attending training after training after training on how to create content, but no one is giving us funding opportunities. We don't want to keep, you can be a perpetual student, but we want to make money. And there are not enough funding opportunities. And then when the funding opportunities come, there are so many people who are going after those same opportunities that it's very hard to get. And you can imagine, like, if you're a small content creator and then you're pitching for something and then you're with the heavyweights here, what are the chances? And you have a brilliant idea. What are the chances that they will give you that over someone who has a name like me? So that's one of the biggest challenges. And also the fact that, especially for women, as I've seen, a lot of women face a lot of cyberbullying. We're trying to create content, but we're also getting bullied. And one instance I want to talk about is last week there were some comedians who broke up their group broke up and the guy was left with only women, and then the women left. And then the women were trying to put out content of their own. And the comments were so hateful. And I'm like, if the person who they broke up with had created the same content, everyone would have been like, oh my gosh, that's such awesome content. But because these women now are trying to find a space of their own, people are like, you're not even funny.
Right.
So we also have to talk about the other issues in the industry, that there's a lot of opportunity and we should keep growing the opportunities, but we also have to deal with some of the issues. And another thing to do with that is we also need to deal with the issues of companies paying us late, because we want to pay taxes, but at the same time, our payments end up being late, and we are also paying people.
Gotcha.
So
You brought
that's
up,
a big
you brought up an issue
deal.
that